I'm assuming it's good evening for you. You're into the evening part of the day, whereas it's afternoon here in New York.
Yeah, it's 5 p.m. here.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, thank you for taking the evening to speak with me. Is anyone allowed to call you Russ, or are you Russell to everybody these days?
No, I'm Russ usually. I mean, unless I'm in trouble, then I'm Russ. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, hey, congrats on this new album. It's very ambitious to go, here's the new material from Lockdown, and here's the classic hits that you've been listening to for decades. So,
Yeah.
when in the process of this release did you realize that you were also going to do the re-records?
Well, I'm always writing, so I mean, the album of new songs, that was always going to be. To be honest, Darren, I've had so many people throughout the years say to me, "Why didn't you record the songs that other people have had hits with?" And I said, "Well, I've done a few. I've done a few. I had Winning that Santana recorded years ago. Mine was out 4 years before his.
Hmm.
Uh, Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow and Head East, and Brian May did it as well. Did a
Yeah.
great version of it. Um, that was on the same album as Winning, and I had that. That was a single by me 3 years before, 3 or 4 years before the others. There was a song on that same album called Just a Dream Away that Roger Daltrey recorded for a movie.
Hmm.
So but people always said to me, why did it? And I thought, I've heard people say it so much. I thought now is a good time to make re-records of those songs, those songs that other people recorded, like the two songs by the girls from ABBA, even,
Hmm.
I recorded I Know There's Something Going On for myself actually years ago. But I was delighted when um, she recorded it, for the
Sure. With Phil Collins producing it and
yeah,
playing
Phil
drums on
produced it as well.
it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So Frida's quite a good singer. I think she's a very good singer. So I was pleased to hear that.
So before we come back to all that, talking about the new record and the new material, it kicks off with Resurrection, which one of the things I love about your songwriting is that you can talk about supernatural themes, but don't come across as a religious person. In other words, you can do magic,
Yeah,
God gave rock and roll to you, but it's never a religious kind of thing. And I get that same kind of vibe with Resurrection, that
yeah,
not
that's it.
religious, but
No,
religious
no.
themes.
But it's ambiguous, you see. You can say that it's very much, you are my resurrection, but it's I was thinking about love affair as well. The love affair of it's feeling down and somebody meets somebody, and what they used to call falling in love.
Mhm.
And so you're my resurrection, that was the idea. I mean, it's ambiguous really, to be honest.
Right. So when in the process of making this new record did Resurrection come out? Because it's a very strong statement to lead off with.
Yeah, well, I wrote that with my friend Rowley Jones. It's in my band. He plays guitar as well. We both play guitar. So he he came over to write with me. We decided we're going to write something together, and he turned up
Mhm.
and he said, "It's got a great title, Resurrection." I said, "Yeah, I love it. I love it." So sat down, I sat at the piano and played those three chords, uh, which is the majority of the song, the same three chords: E minor, D, C, right the way through, and that's how the song came about.
Got it. So I believe this is your 10th studio album, or is this number 11?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. It's 10 or 11.
10 or 11. So when you came up with the idea of, hey, I'm going to start recording during lockdown, how far into that process did you realize that this was an album and not just a creative release and a personal project?
I was writing all the time. I'm writing all the time, and when uh, I found some songs, some older songs, that I started at the start of the lockdown. I thought that would be good if I find a good mix on that one and that one, and I added um, soul music. I added that, played that on the piano. Um, yeah, so that's how that started. That's how that developed.
Got it.
You know,
And
yeah.
do you
So,
have aspirations to do another solo album?
oh yeah, I want to keep going, Darren. You know, I just want to keep. I've never stopped. That's the
Right.
strange thing. I've always written. You know, and you know when you find a passion, as I've said before, you find a passion, and the world makes sense. You know, you get up every day. A lot of people get up every day, don't look forward to every day because they do something that they settle for, and then they go through their lives getting up and thinking, "Oh, I wish I did something I loved." Yeah. But
Right.
many people find, you know, a passion, but not as many as, you know, if everybody found a passion, there would be no war, you know. If I mean, when I say
Mhm.
a passion, it's really a passion that you want to get up and I think to get up every day and do something you love is just magic, you know. The whole day, I go in the studio in the morning and come out for lunch, and there's always something I've loved about that morning. You know, sort of usually something I've loved. You know, like find a good drum pattern that's really expressive and is
Mhm.
inspiring. Then you put a bass on and the keyboards or guitar, whatever, and it's great coming for lunch, and I feel blissful.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
you've mentioned the, sorry to rudely interrupt you there. You've mentioned the passion that you enjoy the writing and all that. But did you ever have a long period of writer's block or going, I'm going to walk away for a couple of years and not do this because you were burnt out?
No, I have been, I've had writer's block before, but you know, it was years ago. I can write a song now. I can write a song, find a good subject to write about. Usually a title, fun enough, a good title that's inspiring, and yeah, I can write a song. So I haven't had writer's block for a long, long time.
Hmm. So when I'm talking to big songwriters, and I'm calling you a big songwriter because every time I go to a Mets game and they win, they play your song New York Groove. You're watching TV and there's Bill and Ted. There's your song there. Your
Yeah.
songs pop up on a daily basis in my life, whether or not I want them to. They're going
Ah.
to. And in your case, what I'm curious about, your path is very different from most of the co-writers and songwriters I know because most of them did not write the song solo. Most of them, even if they wrote it solo, the artist was in the room, so they got 50%, or in order for them to cut the song, they got 50%. In your case, did a lot of these cuts happen because you had a publisher pitching them?
No, the only the only things that were pitched, well, it came to me actually, was the America's song "You Can Do Magic." That came to me from the record company. It came that time. It came through my manager, who said, you know, it was Rupert Perry, who was head of A&R, an Englishman in LA, said
Hmm.
asked if I would write, you know, write something for America, basically, and I did. I listened to their albums, and I found a sort of a kind of sympathetic track. The idea of sort of, I tried to make it very, very America, um, and I did the track myself at Abbey Road, at number
Hmm.
two at Abbey Road, and brought the boys in, Dewey and Jerry, and that was a song that came from a record company. The others, I've always I've just written the songs for myself, basically, all sorts of songs. I mean, I've listened to all sorts of songs. I listen to soul, you know, rock, country. I like tunes, and you know, if you listen to a lot of music, as I do, as I always have done, and I think they call it a Catholic taste. Um, I, yeah, I mean, I love all kinds of music. So I usually do it myself, you know. I usually do the bass, the drums, keyboards, backing vocal,
Hmm.
you know.
That's also very unique. And something else I'm curious about is how many of the sessions where people were recording your songs, were you actually there for?
Very few.
That's what I kind of figured, that you
Yeah.
would find out after the fact your thing was recorded and being placed on something.
Yeah, I mean, I've done sessions in the past where obviously I'm there because I'm playing. I mean, on a Leo Sayer album, and his very first album, I played on his first hit, which was I think #1 or #2 in England. I played banjo. We
Hmm.
recorded that at Roger Daltrey's house, and it was The Show Must Go On, which Three Dog Night had a hit with in the end. But I thought this would sound great with the banjo, you know. And we did it at Roger Daltrey's house. I said to Roger, "Have you got a banjo?" He said, "No, but they've got one at the pub." So we went to the pub and took the banjo off the wall, you know, and it was really, really old with old strings, but it didn't matter. It was a ding, chicka ding, chicka ding, chicka ding, chicka ding, you know. It was a lot of
Hmm.
fun. But I was obviously there for that. Obviously, for the things I produced, like the America, I wasn't there for any of the Kiss songs. The Frida song or the Agneta, the Girls from Amber, I wasn't there for that. I wasn't. Um, no, it's fine. I mean, if they're going to make great tracks without me, that's fine. But I mean, as long as they're my songs.
So if you could take a compliment here, you have been creative, you have been prolific, you've had long-term success, but you've also been able to let go. There's a lot of songwriters who would go, "Oh, I need to hear this before I say yes." And it sounds
Oh,
like you knew to let people do their jobs.
oh yeah. I mean, these guys, Richie Blackmore, you see, Phil Collins knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Mike Chapman did the Agneta album, and I had two on there, and he he knew what he was doing. That's been proven over and over again. You say, oh, that's great. If they're going to, I've been pleasantly surprised with people as well. People I've never heard. I tell you, Keith Urban's just done a great version of Winning,
Hmm.
and it's probably the best version of all. Actually, it's amazing. You know, sounds
Well,
like
how did
Nashville.
to rudely interrupt you again there?
Hmm.
You had success as a recording artist before, during, and after a lot of these hits, but some
Hmm.
of these hits are so timeless that they're going to just live on another 50, 100 years. How is your ego able to handle it that you could walk around unrecognized, but that people knew your songs? Did that bother you, or you didn't care?
No, I think it's a great position to be in, really. To be honest, you know that I can go certain places and people, you know, occasionally they come to you and ask, "Are you?" Uh, and that's quite nice. Um, but I like being sort of big incognito, really. To be honest, my I can go places and sometimes people, you know, I hear you wrote that. Wow, and they had no idea I was in the music business, you know. So, but I love performing, Darren. I
Mhm.
love getting on the stage still, and I still do that. And I really enjoy doing that. It's still a buzz.
So when somebody's going to come to see you live in the near future, I assume they're going to hear a couple songs from the new record, but is it a mix of solo material and hits you did for other people?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do Since You've Been Gone because I mean I recorded that first. I don't do Winning, but I don't do I Surrender either. But I do obviously God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Um I do New York Groove. I do uh, most of these songs, to be honest, and I do selections from albums, you know, from albums that I've done. I do Voices. I do In the Night from that album. Also, Ace Frehley recorded that too, In the Night.
Yes.
I do that. I've got a great band, got a real good band, great players. So it's a joy being with them, you know. And uh, I'm doing a tour of Germany in 3 weeks. We're going to start rehearsing pretty soon, and that's a buzz, you know, to go to Germany and play. They're singing the songs, Darren. That's the great thing. And you get to the chorus,
Yeah.
and the audience are singing them, and it's such a buzz, you know. And there's no, you know, when you're on the stage, there isn't any separation from, like, you know, they're not thinking about their problems in the August. That's not, you know, you can't possibly start thinking about tomorrow and
Right.
you know, your
They're
problems.
living in the
You're so
moment.
focused, you're in the moment and they're in the moment, you know, so it's going out there, coming back, out there, coming back, you know, the hour and a half is magic. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to
yeah.
it.
So, in terms of being a lifelong New Yorker, New York groove is so synonymous with New York. But when you had written that song, had you spent much time in New York in general?
Yeah, yeah, only with Argent. When I was with Argent, you know, we used to play at the. We played on the same bill as Kiss years ago. When I'd never heard of them, and we already had Hold Your Head Up out there, you know, and suddenly
Hmm.
this band turned up, you know, about 7 feet tall with the makeup, and they looked great.
Yeah.
But so we did that. We did the that was the Academy of Music. We probably did that 3 or 4 times. We did Carnegie Hall.
Hmm.
And I played Madison Square with Roger Daltrey when I toured with him. Um, and yeah, I've done quite a lot there on and off. I went there
But
to, yeah. Oh,
to again, yet again, rudely interrupt you, when you're touring is generally you're at the venue, you're at the hotel, and you're
yeah.
just waiting around. You generally don't get to see much of the area you're in. So, did New York groove almost become a different city or setting or concept of what that groove was?
Do you know, I had no idea what, you know, where the streets, I was singing them. I just made them up in the studio and people have said to me, you know, that doesn't, have you thought about that lyric? You know, uh, stop at 3rd and 43, exit to the night and all that kind of stuff. You know, he said, it doesn't, do you actually know? Do you actually know New York? I said, no, I was just throwing the words out there, you know, so because they fitted the song, you know.
That's amazing. But luckily, there is a 43rd and 3rd. Not much happens at 43rd and 3rd, but still, that's great. So, two quick questions, and then I let you go. And the first one is in terms of when I look at your discography, it's nonstop hits. And then you mentioned Keith Urban. Keith Urban cut a song of yours within the last few years. But the thing is, the way that people write everything out is they go, that guy was going nonstop in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then it kind of drops out. What were you doing in the 90s that we should know about? Because again, the bios, we don't have time to read a 12-page bio.
In the 90s, well, I made an album and it's sort of started in the 90s. It's one of these things, it's a passion for me, to be honest. And I was writing, you know, as you get older, Darren, I don't know if it's going to happen to you, but definitely happened
Never.
to me that
No.
I became more and more philosophical. And as you say,
Sure.
I don't have a religion. I don't have a particular system of faith, anything like that. But I was very interested in this world and the universe, and like I'm sure most of us are. I hope we are anyway. And I got into reading a lot of books like Swami Narayanananda, Secrets of Mind Control, things like Dan Millman, Peaceful Warrior, M. Scott Peck, The Road Less Traveled, that kind of stuff. And I got into Krishnamurti big time. And I was into Krishnamurti in the 70s. And I
Hmm.
got everything I could see with Krishnamurti. And I thought it made so much sense to me. And if people out there know Krishnamurti, it would make sense to them. The whole thing about his thing about love, the
Hmm.
whole thing, what is love and that kind of stuff. And, you know, and basically is the best life coach ever. So I wrote this. I thought, God, I could write songs about this. Searching for love, looking for love, what we're all looking for. You know, before you open up the door, do you know what you're looking for? Someone's arms to have around you, or a stage, a battleground where you play out your wildest fantasies? Or is it deeper? You fear the reaper. So you look for something, call it love, and invent the Father up above. I want to know, are you a believer? You'll have love, still you'll leave her, because love works in strange ways. If I knew then what I know now, if I could turn back time somehow, but love works in strange ways. Uh, you know, I want to know, are you a believer? you'll have loved, still you'll leave. I want all these kind of lyrics, you know, sort of going around my head, and the idea of human beings want the same thing in life.
Yeah.
Mainly, they want the same thing. The powerful things in life, all include love for me. The powerful things, you know. And I was thinking
Yeah.
about whether you're in Russia, whether you're in America, whether you're in here, you're Africa, wherever, you want love. You want a family. You want to feel love. You want to give them love. You know, when you give love, you feel so much better. You're uplifted. And I wrote this song at the end of this album. When we're looking for love, we're going through it. It's called Book of Love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for me, basically. But it's out there, and it's each song is a signpost on the way to finding love. It's all aspects of love, because, you know, what is love? You know, I know M. Scott Peck had a lovely definition, which was always action, the act of extending oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own and or someone else's spiritual growth. That hit me. So I wrote this song, and it was called Just Like Me. You're just like me. I met a man from Africa. It goes, I met a girl from China. She became a friend. When I learned to understand her, there was much to comprehend. I sympathized with her stories. She laughed at my jokes. So many things about that time her memory evokes. I said, just like me, you get angry. Like me, you get mad. Like me, you're happy and you're sad. Then I met a man from Africa, Dakar, Senegal. Apart from the color of his skin, he was like a man I knew from Montreal. I said, you get scared. So do I. Think there's nothing there. So do I. And then he said, have you ever faked love? Me too. Give not enough. I do. Do you state your case? Well, so do I. And then close your mind to the reply. Have you said there's no God, then prayed at night? I have. I do. And again, I might. Do you get so angry you can't understand? You do. I do. So does every other man. In France or Spain or Timbuktu, what's inside of him is inside of you. And inside of me is in every other. Whoever you are, you're my mother, my father, my sister, my brother. Just like me, you get angry. Like me, you get mad. So that's how it ends. That's how the thing ends. But I spent 5 years doing it.
The key is universal truths. Found you success, and you keep finding new inspiration through universal truths.
It's difficult, Darren, as you get older, to sing about please come to me, go away from me, I hate you, oh, I love you, come back. Oh, you're lovely, I love you. So it's harder as you get older to get into those themes, you know.
I hear you. Well, thank you for the decades of great art. Looking forward to what's to come. Hope to see you live in New York in the near future. And seriously, congrats on your new double album, Russ.
Thanks so much, Darren.
Paltrocast.